So here's our value creation process. So as I said, for me, it works as a checklist. So you have read the PRI on a line-by-line basis. Now the approach or the question is, what should you then be doing or linking, or how you should be linking with this? So now we have read a couple of things, and we want to just help us to say maybe something we didn't think about it properly, and we want to be able to just reflect. And maybe while we are here, let me just pause and show you the full Integrated Reporting Council's framework. So this is one such document which expands on the 6 capitals. So if you just Google IIRC and then you say 6 capital, this will pop up. Nothing fancy in terms of getting it. So they say that the financial capital is broadly understood as the pool of funds available to an organization. This includes debt and equity financing. Excuse me. This description of financial capital focuses on the source of finance rather than its application, which result in the acquisition of manufactured or other forms of what? Of capital. The interrelationship of financial capital and other capitals include that it is a medium of exchange that releases its value through the conversion into other forms of capital. While not all capitals can be purchased, much of the literatures consider the way in which they are previously regarded as non-monetary variable in a business sense have increasingly come to be monetized and commoditized such a significant portion of what is now regarded as financial capital. So much words, these lawyers and business leaders. So, but essentially, as we spoke about, it's about the source of the funds. And I did mention that source of funds will also be driven on your ability to contribute into paying of the existing debt and bringing equity. So that's why we then extend it to look at the profitability of the company. But fundamentally, it's about where the money comes from. And you'll see that manufactured capital is human-created, production-oriented equipment and tools. A distinct is drawn between inventory and PPE. So, consideration. So that is what I just wanted to highlight and affirm. But now, let's go to what? Let's go to our value creation model. So with our value creation model, we are saying financial capital in the likes of Limpros, we saw that they've got debt of about 200 million. That's where their source of financing comes from. And we also noted in terms of equity, let's just look at equity. But you see what the model is saying, that some of the things you might have read, but you've not brought focus into it. So now you want to just bring focus into it. Then you are saying that equity is about 700,000. So this company is not heavily geared. If you compare total equity and non-current liabilities, and even if we consider current, it's 155. So this company is well geared. And one of the things that I'm comparing year-end closing total equity, which has been increased by that 85 million that we noticed as part of the net profit for the year. So that is why I say that profit is like another source of capital. Then manufactured capital, they say that it's usually production oriented, but in this case, it is cool. So one will then look to the PPE section and say land. and buildings, furniture and equipment, right of use, and intangible assets, there they are. And the biggest ticket items are the land and the what? And the buildings, accounting for almost 90% of the total assets. Intellectual capital, they've got some brands, and they were trying to develop their online learning platform. So that is something that from an intellectual perspective, they'll want to probably put more focus. And then human capital, they did tell us about the teachers being significant contributors to the process. So we noted, and we also noted that they were a number of directors, as well as what representative from a key stakeholders perspective. So that's our intellectual, our human. Social and relationship, they did raise a problem about risk being challenging what? Challenging the social and relationship status with key institution. DHET was mentioned as a key stakeholders. And they've got this employee shared trust where there's got a representative. So those are now some of the things that could impact the entity's ability to do what? To build effective relationships. And lastly, natural, they talked about their commitment to water and clean water and sanitation or something like that. Let me just quickly go back just to make sure we are aligned. They said, we have a responsibility to play in the sustainability and climate change. So those are some of the things they've noted. And they also talk about the key risk being around the supply of water as well as electricity. They go all in terms of the risk and opportunity. Excuse me. In terms of the risk and opportunity, they've already identified some for us, which some looked a bit operational, and some are really strong risk that needs to what? To be mitigated to avoid negative impact should they ever occur. But essentially, what I just want you to also challenge is which capitals are being threatened by the identified risk. And then strategy, they told us the strategy as well as the outlook and plans of what they want to do going forward. So that is essentially how then this looked like right here. And when it comes to the business model with the school, they've got two division, tertiary, as well as the schools division. So how are they doing performance-wise? We identified issues around bad debt, settlement discount, but they were able to generate profit. They had some assets that they written down. So now we have this painted in the context, and it's now a matter of then exploring it further with the rest of the documentation, as well as you get new ideas from the Curo Financials and Advertech coming back and saying that how does this further enhance my understanding of the impact of the capitals in this context, as well as any other issues that may have become evident in the document. So that's what I wanted to discuss, and we're going to keep it there.